Hello.
Hello.
Hey, we're back. It's another Sunday, you guys. Shocked to see us
Oh
twice in a
no.
row. We're trying to stay consistent.
Yes. So
Hi,
we're back.
everyone.
Oh, hi everyone. So we're back for another episode of Double Feature. This is episode 4. And we always start with our tea pairings.
Oh, yes, you guys. So for this episode, we have paired for two particular films that are focused on childhood nostalgia. What's good to go with that vibes is a nice hot chamomile with lavender and honey. And just for reference, they kind of noted as nostalgic, comforting, and bittersweet, which is what these
Yes.
two films have in common. So that is what we are drinking for this episode, everyone. Oh, nice sip, hot.
Yes. Yeah, so we're
Oh
gonna
yes,
get
so
right.
let's just
Oh,
jump right into the films, right? Or
yes. So this week's double feature are the coming of age films Now and Then and Stand By Me.
oh
Yes.
yes.
Go ahead, Kira.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say Now and Then. The 1995 film is my pick for this week.
Yep, and Stand By Me, the 1986 film, is my pick this week.
Oh yes, you guys. So these are what we're going to be discussing this episode. Hopefully people we should note that if you haven't seen these films, hopefully you will consider watching them after tuning into this episode. And if you have seen the films, even if you're catching us on the replay, just share your thoughts and comments. Did you like them? Did you prefer one over the other? Share your thoughts.
Oh, yes. And me and Kira, even though these films have been out for a long time, we still are going to try to work without spoiling them, just in case people haven't seen them. So we're just going to be giving you some reasons why you should watch it and talk a little bit about the characters in the film, just to give you a little taste of each film.
Oh yes, exactly. And yes, these have been out forever, you guys. So my hope is that people have seen them. If not, this is your draw to see them. And yeah, like Mika said, we're not gonna spoil them.
Oh, yes. And if we do, I mean, it's all right.
Oh, you guys. Yeah, we'll do the best we can. Well, I think we can talk about these films without spoiling them
Oh, yes. Okay.
to the
So we
best of
can.
our ability.
Yeah, to the best of our ability. Okay, so we're gonna go right into the films, and we're gonna talk about. Should we give
A
a
little
synopsis?
synopsis.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So we can start. We'll start with Kira's pick,
Oh
which we.
yes. Oh, yes, Now and Then, you guys. And I guess we'll break down the characters when we jump into the themes, right? Or should we be doing that now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll touch base on them when we go over the themes.
Oh, okay. All right. So the synopsis for Now and Then is it's a film that follows four childhood friends, but we are meeting them as adults. They come back, they reunite to come back together to their childhood home because one of the friends is expecting their first child.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Did you think I described it well? I'm not sure if I
Oh,
gave too little.
no, that's good. That's good.
Okay,
That's good.
okay.
And then my pick is the 1986 film Stand By Me. And our film follows four boys. Over the summer, there are four friends who are from a town called Castle Rock in Oregon, and they spend the summer trying to find a dead body of a young boy who's gone missing. So it talks about that adventure that they had this summer, which is really really fun, a cool one.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Should I have added? Like, I'm sorry, you guys. The
Uh,
Now and Then kind of sets the tone in terms of when they're young in the 1970s. I don't know if I didn't give too much, but hopefully I did enough a
no,
little bit.
we'll delve into it. So
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
we'll touch base with it when we get to it. Okay, so I'll pull up the share screen with both films again while we discuss the themes of each.
Okay, great, great. Perfect. Well, the very first thing is let's kind of break down like a little bit of the friendships, and I'll start with Now and Then. So I love how this film we are actually seeing, which kind of differs from Stand By Me. I know we don't see, and tell me if I'm wrong, Mika, in Stand By Me, we don't see like the full cast in the same way as adults that we do in Now and Then. So I love how in Now and Then you see the four female friends as adults that are played by Demi Moore plays Samantha, Melanie Griffin plays the adult Tina or Teeny, Rosie O'Donnell plays the adult version of Roberta, and Rita Wilson plays the adult version of Chrissy. On screen, we have a young Christina Ricci playing the young Roberta, And then we have Gabby Hoffman. Oh my gosh, she was always a favorite in terms of young Hollywood for me. Plays the young Sam. Ashley Ashton Moore, rest in peace, played the young Chrissy. And Thora Birch played the young Teeny.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and you're right. That's the difference, a noted difference in both films where, like you said, and now and then have the adult friends. It seems like their friendship has lasted throughout the years. And like you said,
Right.
they're reconvening and coming back to celebrate the birth of one of their friends. Whereas in Stand By Me, we've seen like we have one of the main characters, which is Gordy, who's played by Will Wheaton. He's narrating the film, and he's talking about these friendships he had when he was younger, but they have not stayed in touch, and they as they've grown up they disconnected. So that is a noted difference in the film.
Yes, yes. And remind me, and now and then it's Sam actually doing the narration in that film.
Yes, and see, and that's where we can kind of talk, which I think is kind of cool with the characters, like you mentioned. um in the two films, yes, that's a similarity. So we have Gordy, who's the narrator, and Stand By Me, who's narrating the summer that they all had this adventure. And as you mentioned, and now and then Sam is
Yeah,
narrating. Yeah.
yes, she's narrating that film. And again, the difference there is the girls, young girls, are setting out in terms of summer on
Hmm.
their own
Hmm.
adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I did know some other similarities between these two characters, which were really cool since we on them. So I know for, like we said, we already talked about how they both do the narration. Also, they're both writers, which I thought was cool.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I don't know if they did this on intentionally now and then. Like I
Mm.
know Stand By Me came out first, of course. And I do love how films take some creative license and paying a little bit of homage with a little bit of nuggets here and there
Mhm.
from their films that have come before them. So I thought there was a lot of little similarities in both films that I appreciated that now and then kind of paid homage to Stand By Me.
Oh yes, yeah.
Primarily, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely can see the similarities, like you said, taking a little from each film. There are some things that are different, like you said, a
Oh yeah.
female driven centric cast and then a male centric cast. But yeah, you definitely see the similarities, especially like we said with these two characters. And also another similarity between the two, they're both dealing with uh uh grief. You know what I mean? I think Gordy is dealing with the grief of his brother, and Sam is dealing with the divorce that's occurring in her family and how that's affecting her.
Oh, yes, lost, but in a different way, but yeah,
Yes.
both mourning what that looks like for them. So, yeah,
Mhm.
Sam mourning the loss of, this intact home and her parents actually divorcing and, what that might look like, and then, yeah, Gordy, like, recent loss of, his brother, and then what that's done in terms of, his perceived family unit, and just mourning that loss as well as what his parents look like.
Mhm. Okay, so we'll go back to themes.
Oh, yes, do you wanna start with you kind of identify the very first, main one is that, female centric and male, centric. And again,
Yeah.
young women, young men.
Mhm.
We do see some older elements there too, but I love that, the unique perspective from, 4 young friendships and then, 4 friendships in the male perspective.
Oh yes, I love that dynamic. Another thing is too, they're both having these summer adventures. Also kind of similar because I know in Stand By Me, like I said, they're searching for a dead body of a missing kid. And I think Now and Then is kind of similar too, because aren't they trying to investigate a mystery of a murdered boy as well?
Oh, yeah, Murdered Boy and his, mother. So Dear Johnny is
Hmm.
the, kind of what they're looking for in terms of trying to unravel they're spending their summer trying to unravel what happened to Dear Johnny. And that was so funny because they kind of just happened upon it. I love Sam character. She loved, seances, and her friends always
Hmm.
accused her and doing a seance in the cemetery. They stumbled upon, Dear Johnny's gravesite, and that kind of sparks their curiosity this summer to figure out what happened to him. Um, and
Yeah.
then for Stand By Me, I think yes, I think the story behind that it was a kid that went missing, and they were trying to figure out what happened to him.
Oh, yes, yes. So that's kinda cool too, just like them all trying to figure out the mystery and trying to go off on this adventure and spending your whole summer, trying to solve these quote unquote mysteries. I think that's just both so cool in both films.
Oh yeah, and that was their focus. And in the midst of that focus, we kind of see them coming together and kind of splitting apart in different ways.
Okay, so coming of age, what do you think in terms of that for a theme? I think like
Oh,
we said, go ahead.
oh no, I love it. Like I love it. I think that the ages we find in both films, we find our characters is like literally coming of age, young adolescents, so
Mhm,
trying to figure out themselves, trying to figure out the dynamics between the friendships and navigating that.
mhm,
I think you see everything around you in a different way. So your parents are viewed differently, family and friends viewed differently than when you were younger. And so I love that aspect of it. It's truly coming of age. All of our characters are affected by like their external influences, and
mhm,
then they're affected in terms of how they interact with one another and how they interact in the world.
mhm.
So yeah, completely coming of age. I love it just based off of all the feels that you have, even if you don't necessarily aren't necessarily going through what each character specifically is going through. You can relate in different ways.
Yeah, and I love like we talked about some of the themes like grief, death, life in general. I love how each film kind of tackles those and how those events can kind of affect us when we're younger. Like we said, Gordy dealing with the death of his brother, Samantha dealing with the divorce of her parents. We also have characters who are dealing with parents who are absent, not really involved in their lives or kind of checked out. We have other characters who are kind of that naivety of when you're young and how you deal with that. I just love how it explores all those, even the loss of innocence, because a lot of these characters have been through at their young age a lot of tough challenges and how that changes too, how you see yourself as a young adult. So I think those themes are done really well in both films.
Oh yeah, and confronted mortality. I think
Mhm.
both films kind of, even though they're different tracks with regards to how they deal with that, like that's definitely what's the word I'm looking for? Harsh in terms of being that young and how
Mhm.
you deal with like loss in a way that's tragic.
Mhm. And then tied into that, like we said, the friendships, how you can have these core group of friends who also friendship is so key that when you're experiencing these difficult times, you have a great group of friends who can kind of help you navigate that.
Oh, definitely. And see, this is why both these films are so great because even though in Now and Then and Stand By Me, all 4 of the characters are so very different, and I love it, like, and again, you still see similarities with the characters in both films and how they connect with one another,
Yeah,
but
we
it's
do.
so true, like, one thing they had in common was they didn't have to navigate all of life's harshness and uncertainty and, like, things that were difficult and challenging on their own, they had each other.
Yeah.
So friendship is definitely a common theme in both films.
Oh yes, and we can even. I know we talked about Sam and Gory. We can kind of play again with the similarities with all the characters. Uh, I put Roberta now then's Roberta with Stand By Me's Chris. I consider both of them, and let me know what you think here, like the leaders of both of their friend groups. Both characters are very strong. Um,
Assertive.
very tough. You know what I mean? Try to keep everyone in order. Try to keep everyone centered. Try to keep everyone focused. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. And what I also like about both is even though they were like very strong outwardly, that's what they conveyed. In
Mhm.
both films, they showed their vulnerability and emotional sides, which I
Yes, yes.
appreciated. So you were able to also see that even though the other friends looked to them sometimes for guidance and admired things within both of them, even if that wasn't said, you knew that was the sense in terms of how they led.
Mhm,
Each group, they were definitely still humanized based off of being vulnerable and still
mhm,
experiencing like pain and
mhm.
going through their own problems. Very different, but sad and upset and frustrated in different ways, which I liked.
Oh, yes, and I love that you said vulnerability because with those tough exteriors, I loved seeing those hints of vulnerability, because they mask him so well. We know Chris's character comes from a tough home. His dad is an alcoholic and abusive, and Roberta, Her mother died when she was younger. She's a tomboy, and her dad is she's close with the dad, but he's kind of checked out a little bit too. So they mask that vulnerability really well, but they're great.
Oh yeah, and then without giving too much away, I do like how both these characters in their adult lives, how it's interesting in terms of the professions they take. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, like they actually did quite well for themselves,
Hmm.
even though they were still, without giving too much away, like challenges. Like when you see them in their younger self, and then kind of hear about what happens when they're older, like the path they took, it could have been surprising to some people.
Yeah, and also fitting for their personalities, like when
Hmm.
you actually get to know them as characters.
Oh, exactly. Yep.
Okay. The next 2 I kinda tied together. I tied, Teenie with Teddy.
Oh.
I kinda put them as a like, both dramatic. I think, both, I don't know, attention seeking. We have like, Teenie who wants is that actress who's attracted to the arts. Her parents are kind of checked out, dealing with like living their own lives. And then Teddy, Teddy has this fantasy about who his dad is. His family's kind of dysfunctional as well. So always creating these stories and wanting to be the center of attention to kind of deal with that frustration. But what do you think?
Oh no, I agree with what you said. It's interesting because again, right, these two characters are very different in terms of their backgrounds and
Hmm.
home life. And
Hmm.
so Teddy, of course, comes from a more dysfunctional home than Teeny in the sense of like there was violence, there
Hmm.
were things
Hmm.
that happened that was not unique, that was not unique to Teeny, but
Hmm.
in terms of them having these alternate realities, if you will, in terms of it could be escapism and
Mhm,
also like this wanting of something better and something more.
mhm,
So I like that about both characters, even though they were clearly from different walks of life in terms of family upbringing. You would think
mhm.
it's interesting with Teeny. All four of the girls they grew up in a really, like in my opinion, it could be described as affluent or at least middle
Middle
class,
class, yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Um, Neighborhood.
Mhm,
And so that piece was good in terms of these intact homes, really good neighborhoods, safe. But again, what do you see? You see absent parents or like loss and a lot of things going on there. So to the outside world, it looks great. Behind closed doors, it's still problems, but nowhere near the problems that you see in terms of the boys in by Me. Like I feel like Teddy's character really went through it when you learn about his day to day and his relationship with his father,
mhm,
and then just kind of how he's perceived in the town.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely the backgrounds are definitely, different, like you said, in Stand By Me, the boys. Probably besides Vern, we didn't really get too much, in-depth family look into Vern, but I would say probably Vern and Gordy may have the most quote
most intact
unquote.
families. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but even though they had problems as well, yeah. Okay, now last characters I put together, those are two of my faves.
Oh, Vern and Chrissy.
Yes, 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 and I just think they like the innocent ones, the naive ones, the sweet ones, the comedy relief, those friends who you always have to kinda look after because they are a little so innocent.
Oh yeah, I describe them as so gullible. Like, do
Oh,
you know what I
yes,
mean?
yes.
Yes, and then not wanting to like do the wrong thing. Like I feel like it was so funny. Both these characters, in Stand by Me, Vern, when they're setting out, Vern's like, I don't know about this, and the same thing for Chrissy.
Mhm,
Oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, you guys, or like kind of scolding, like, oh my god, Roberta. Like
mhm.
they just seem to be the ones that really were trying to like not toe the line. They don't want to do anything to get anyone in trouble. They are quite funny in different
Yeah.
ways in both movies. I love
I
Chris so much. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
always felt like they didn't wanna exert too much energy,
Oh
they were.
yeah. Yeah. And they don't want to just wanted to keep it very simple. Like be a lady, Roberta. I
Yeah,
love me some
yeah,
Chrissy. Yeah.
and I love Vern, I love it sincerely, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely with his 7 cents. I love.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like the money? Like $2.37 got them quite a bit.
Oh
back
my
in the day. You guys,
god.
we were saying at $2.30, like, Vern added 7 cents on this voyage. Couldn't
Mhm.
even get you, like, a whole meal, a lot not let alone a bag of chips. I don't even think is it
What
enough for soda? I don't think so.
no, I 237. I was when I was little, I was thinking about just with $1, what you used to be able to get with a
Oh, yeah.
dollar. What can you
I used
buy
to get
for a
1
dollar
bag of
now?
chips, a juice, a cake, 2
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah, what can you even buy for a dollar now?
Ooh, I don't know. And
I
how
don't
much
think
is gum? Maybe gum? Let me say that, maybe a
I don't even know if you can buy
pack of
gum.
gum? I don't
I don't
know.
even know if you can buy gum for a dollar now.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Hopefully, gum is less than $1, my gosh.
Ugh, add some tax, so it might be a dollar or something, but yeah, the money went a long way
A
back
long
then.
way. Oh, yeah, and even in Now and Then, remember I forget the cost of the soda pops they got, but it was under $1 for, like, 4. I kid you, I'm like, "Stop."
Yeah, root beer floats,
Ugh,
everything. Oh,
wow.
wow. Inflation. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, but yeah. And I think and again, if you guys watch these films, you will see, like, Now and Then definitely, some people have called it the female Stand By Me. I've heard that quite a bit.
Mhm,
And so I there'll definitely be similarities, but they're unique in their own way, for
mhm,
sure.
mhm. Yep, so going back to I know we talked a little bit about the characters, but going back a little to in the nostalgia, anything else you wanted to add there?
Oh, I think we can highlight the soundtrack for like, this might be
Oh.
a good area to discuss, like, oh my god, both films, you guys, you will thoroughly enjoy the soundtracks. Meek and I were trying
Mhm,
to figure out which film had the best. It's really
mhm,
hard, in my opinion, to narrow down, like, both films have such a stellar soundtrack that's reminiscent of, like, the '60s, '70s, 80s. It's such good music.
yes, did you pick one of your favorite? Which one was your favorite?
Oh, well, I said, Now and Then, like, it had, of course, the classic that's tied to this film, Sugar Sugar by the Archies,
Oh,
Signs
Bands
Still
of
We Know We
Gold.
Love. Oh, Stevie Wonder, yeah, Band of Gold by, Freddie Payne. It just had, Daydream Believer by the Monkees. Such a good soundtrack, Now
Yeah,
and Then, you guys.
yeah. But Stand
Yes.
By Me, I mean, just even that classic song, Stand By Me, that might win it just with that, but they had some good Lollipop, just some good sound yeah, the
Oh,
songs were
yes.
great.
Oh, yes. Well, Benny King, right? I think that stands the test of time. Some people might say Stand By Me just wins, like you said, because of Stand By Me.
Mhm. I mean, it's
Um,
classic, that's just such a good one. But yeah, it was hard to pick. I think I'll go with Stand By Me because it did have some good ones, but it is hard to
oh,
figure
yeah,
out which one had the better soundtrack, but yeah, the soundtracks for both films are just yeah,
amazing.
pure
Top tier,
nostalgia.
top tier. If anything, watch for the music.
Mhm, mhm. What do you think about the retrospective from the adults to their younger selves? What did you
Oh,
like that?
yeah, I actually love films that do narration. Like, in my opinion, it's a good way. Well, it works for these 2 films because you do, hold time in a different way. So I
Mhm,
loved how, and now and then you see the older characters, like, we get to revisit them as adults and,
mhm,
like, just, Sam doing the narration, she's able to take herself all the way back to a pivotal summer,
mhm,
and you really hold with more, like, power, in my opinion, how impactful it was because you hear her voice throughout the entire film.
mhm,
So every scene, just imagine each scene without the voice. You probably still understand what's going on, but I felt that the impact was more significant because Sam was conveying more fully what was going on based off what you were seeing because, again, the telling of it was there and it's more pronounced to the audience, in my opinion.
mhm. And I loved Gordy's narration too because again, like you said, is the adult looking back to that pivotal summer or that one memory that just holds so much emotion for you. But I love how he talks about how some friendships when you're younger, those are usually the best friendships of your life compared to friendships of as an adult. And I wondered if that was true or not, but I loved how he looked at that. How like even if your friendships are short lived when you're younger, they do leave a lasting impact, which I do believe.
Oh, I agree. And this film makes you wish that you had friends like that. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh,
Even if
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's one friend that stood out from the like I know with Stand By Me it's interesting without giving too much away in terms of how their connection looks.
Mhm.
when they're younger, 12, to kind of what happens to them all when they are adults.
Mhm.
And I found like, yeah, Gordy remembering might be more painful just because of some loss of connections that
Oh,
occurred.
yes. Yes.
Whereas I think Now and Then is so unique because we find all four of them intact. And even if it's, we assume that even though they don't see each other all the time, they still are really close friends to come
Mhm.
back in the way they did in a
Mhm.
space, the treehouse that was quite familiar to them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
geez, if you have four friends that young that you go through so much with, to still be friends with them from childhood to adulthood is amazing. And I think Stand By Me shows how rare that really is.
Oh, yes, and how sad it is to lose those connections, yes,
Mhm.
c because I think that's, just as important too, because as the years go by, sometimes you do lose those connections, and sometimes you don't know why. You just stop talking to people, you might
Don't
have
make an effort.
yeah, you don't make an effort, there could be huge life circumstances, maybe a move, maybe a drastic change, and you just lose those relationships, so, yeah, Stand By Me does look at the sadness of that, and how you can kinda lose those relationships.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think that is unique in terms of the perspective it holds there.
Mhm. Would you say that, your friendships when you were younger were more valued than the ones you have now, or what do you think?
Well, what I will say is it's very sad that some of the people that were friends,
Mhm.
as, a child or even in high school aren't friends now.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think, I'm identifying like one friendship that I do wanna make a better effort with, that's a high school friend that is worth investing in.
Mhm.
Um, and then I will say, like, I'm very intent now on, like, the people that I have in my life. So even if I'm someone that has, like, 2 really good friends, I really wanna hone those friendships,
Mhm.
like, kinda influence that too. You don't have to have a lot of friends. Even if you have one really good friend, that's great, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, and I think this film highlights that too. You don't need a lot of friends, you just need the right ones, and how
Mhm.
each friend serves a different purpose. You can get something from each friend. I love that. That was so awesome. Each friend
Oh,
gives
yeah.
you
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I found, like, a Now and Then, for example, Sam and Teenie were, like, probably the closest.
Mhm.
Even though they were all close, those 2, in my opinion, had a unique bond, and again, in the film, that's strengthened, and you'll see why, but, like, I
Mhm.
just kind of felt like you saw who people were drawn to more and the reasons why.
Yeah,
Um
and then Stand By Me, you saw that with Gordy and Chris. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, like amongst
exactly,
the friend group, you do have those who connect more to each other, but, we have those ones who serve their purpose, comic relief, the shoulder to cry on, the friend who makes you laugh, the friend who's the protector. Like we
yep,
said, each serve their own, role.
exactly, yep.
Okay, let's see some other themes. I'm just going through my, list. I think we
Oh,
talked about
another thing that I will say though, just came to me about the
yeah.
nostalgic is, I love how both these movies make me remember, like, growing up with no social media, no internet,
Oh, you
literally just
outside.
outside riding bikes, like, hanging out, like, there is none of these distractions that exist today, and that
Mhm,
made me so nostalgic of a time that, yeah, still had its issues, but was so much simpler than in my
mhm.
opinion it is today, like, take me back.
Oh, yeah, I definitely related to that. Where you were outside, you had to find something to keep your interest. You weren't, like you said, stuck on the phone all day. Yeah, you were out with your friends. You
Swimming, playing ball,
yeah,
and, like,
out in nature,
hanging out, yep.
and not really even too having to worry about I know there was crime back then. I'm not saying that there wasn't crime.
Yeah, more of a sense of security, yep.
Yes, yes, like, you for us, it's just being home before the street lights came on, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's Stand By Me, I remember before they even set out on the journey, Chris's character, like, hitchhiked to the meet Gordon
Yeah,
in
that's
town, I
what
was like, "Okay," like, it was just things that people did that were more commonplace that would still dangerous, but, like, absolutely not nowadays, and that was just both these, films took place in, like, these small towns that were,
mhm,
like, picturesque, even if there were issues, just seemed
yeah.
like nothing happens there.
Oh, yeah, and everyone knows everyone.
Exactly, and that could be a good or a bad thing, but everyone knows everyone, and everyone knows everyone's business.
Yeah, it did make me reminiscent of that because now, I'm even looking at today, it's just like, people are so disconnected. And kids, I mean, do kids even go outside nowadays? I mean, I think they do, but
Oh, that's a rarity. Like, I will say, where we live is very nice. Mind you, they're little, so that could
oh yeah, that's
shift. But
true.
little kids outside playing, riding their bikes, like the chalk, the hopscotch. I'm like, oh yes, instead of like
Oh, that's true. We do. Yeah, we
attached
do
to the
have a
phone,
few.
devices, tablets. It's nice to see someone on a bike,
Yeah,
a skateboard, skating,
I
jumping
know.
rope. I said, I love it.
Oh
Just listening
yeah,
to music.
yeah, and I even throw on these films just to have that piece of
Oh
nostalgia. These
yes.
are these would be perfect films for that.
Just so feel good in different ways, even though they're
Mhm,
covering some pretty tough topics, you guys. Like there is this, it's bittersweet because of that. Bitter just based off what they go through on each film, but
mhm.
sweet in terms of just the genuine friendships that are forged, but also just takes you back to a time that seemed like still and more
Yeah,
calm.
simple
Yes.
times. Okay, I think we did hit all our themes because I just wanted to make sure we talked about the setting, like we're both in the rural settings. We talked about each character's identity, their sense of belonging, what each character represented. We talked about grief, how that is focused on in each film, nostalgia, friendship. I think we hit all our themes. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, really, these films like stand the test of time. Like these will both will be forever classics to
Mhm,
me. So I think that if you love them as much as we do, they're worthy of a watch, and I can see everyone revisiting it both quite often.
mhm,
They're just really gems, and I haven't seen anything come close to either one, honestly. There's been some replications here and there trying, but these two stand out for a reason. They're just really a masterclass on what friendship at a young age can look like, and how we yearn for that and wish we had that.
mhm. Yeah, I agree. I would definitely recommend both these films. Like I said, they play on each other. Like we said, I know Now and Then comes later, and it is a bit of a homage to Stand by Me. You definitely see that it's taken some influence from the film. I love, like we said, the similarities as well as the differences, but just great coming of age films. I would love to hear people's recommendations. If you know of other films that are great coming of age films that you would probably compare to
Oh
these or would
yeah.
also add as another double feature, I would love to hear your thoughts on those. And share your thoughts on these two films if you've seen them as well. So yes, definitely would recommend these for a great night in, especially if you're looking for some pure, sweet, nostalgic vibes. These two
Oh
would
yeah.
be right up your alley.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love them so much. And it was good
Yeah.
to rewatch them again.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So I think we did a good synopsis of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like again, like without giving too much away or telling you exactly what happens, scene from scene in this film, enough for you to be curious, hopefully, and enough for
Mhm.
you to press play on both.
Mhm. Yeah, so check them out if you haven't, and we'll be looking forward to your comments on either.
Oh, yes, and you guys, we do plan to be back this upcoming Sunday with another episode for 7. We are still just trying to narrow down which 2 films. We've gone a few ideas, we'll hope
Yes.
to share with you, before, like, I would say we'll have them narrowed down by Tuesday of this week, but we will be back next Sunday with another episode of Double Feature where we highlight, my pick and Mika's pick, and a common theme.
Yes, and you know what I was thinking too, maybe in a future episodes, maybe we might have people give us some recommendations of films that they would pair together and maybe we can check out. I think that'd be fun too
Oh,
to
that'll be
do.
fun. Totally open to that, you guys.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we'll watch them, talk about them.
yes, and if we've seen them, we'll rewatch and give a
Oh,
fresh
yes, of course.
perspective. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. All right,
Alright, yes, you
everyone.
guys, well, I'm gonna say it, I always say, we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yes.
And hopefully people catch us on the replay and then, share your thoughts, and we'll see you next week.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.